Thrilled to be here. This is my first charter event. I know there's a lot of people in this room who've been to 4, 5, 6 of these, and now that I know we have Girl Scout cookies, maybe you will all come back for more. No, I'm kidding. I'm Jena McGregor. I'm the managing editor of Charter, and I am so excited to be joined today by Nickle LaMoreaux, the CHRO of IBM, who needs very little introduction. Most people have probably heard a little bit about IBM's journey on she's really one of the foremost voices on building an AI first culture and AI first organization. Fun fact, Nickle started 25 years ago at IBM as an intern and became CHRO in 2020, where she leads an organization of 300,000 employees globally, roughly.
Yeah,
So first, I just want to say, the reason we wanted Nickle to kind of start us off today and really get us going is that part of her role as CHRO, I was stunned by this number when I heard it last year. You spend 25% of your time talking to other leaders about their AI journey. Last year, you visited more than 300 different companies. And so I thought you could help us set the stage. What is the big challenge and issue that you've heard over and over and over again?
Yeah. Just to warn everybody, we're not going to take you through the 9-year journey.
Yes.
You get the cliff notes.
It's not, yeah.
This, okay? Yeah, so, one of the things, given we are a software company and we do build our own AI and we're a consulting organization, we do have access to a lot of clients. And so it is one of the things that when I first started doing it, it was just in my capacity as CHRO. It was just in my capacity of what could I learn from other organizations about how they were approaching technology. I was a new CHRO during COVID. And so it was really for my internal view. What it quickly, though, became is, in some ways, we need to be a support group for each other on this, that there isn't one straight path. And so just these dialogues have kept that going. If you said to me, what have I learned? I think there are 2 things that I have learned. When anybody talks to you about an AI transformation, an AI implementation, technology is 5 to 10% of it. And everybody just needs to acknowledge this. It doesn't matter if you're a technology company doing it. It does not matter if you're way behind on AI. Technology is the easy part. And so you have to think about human behavior, your workforce, processes, operating models. That is where the magic happens. It's also where the failures happen. So that's the first thing I would say that I've learned over this time period. The second thing I've learned is there is no such thing as best practices in this space. Mm-hmm. And that, to me, is the amazing thing about AI. AI is a hyper-personalized experience. So this idea of, I need to do my AI implementation this way. I need to use AI here because my competitor does it, because this company I admire does it, that doesn't work. Right? It does not work. And so the second thing I learned is it's great to have so many voices. And the reason why I talked to 300 is like, I'm going to take that piece from this company and that piece from this company. AI has to fit your business model, how you actually make money. It has to fit your talent model. And it has to fit the culture of your company. And if it doesn't do those 3 things, and so there are some places you're going to say, I'm going to implement AI this way because it solves this. A good example I give is we use AI pretty extensively in compensation. It fits our business model. We're a professional services firm. We always have to be taking in a lot of data about the going rates and how much you're willing to pay on billable hours for consultants. It fits our talent model because we're also an IT company and we have to stay competitive. It fits our culture. We're a bunch of engineers and scientists and people accept the data.
Yep.
We hardly use it at all in talent acquisition. Many of you in your organizations use it in talent acquisition. because it fits your business model, and it fits your culture, and it fits your talent model. So that's a good example of learn from as many people as you can in this space.
So are there places where you refuse to use AI, whether when it comes to leading HR, when it comes to leading your teams, people? Is there a red line of, I won't use it here?
I have learned very humbly over the last 3 years that wherever I set the red line on AI, I then move it. About 3 years ago, I said to my HR business partners, coaching is uniquely human. That is the skill to learn. Yep. We trained everybody on it. AI will never do it. And then Parker, my friend in here, proved me wrong on that. Yes. So again, I use this concept of not yet.
Yep.
So I don't use it in TA yet. But again, using that model of, does it fit your business model? Does it fit your company culture, your talent model? I think you should always be reevaluating, including even if you spent a lot of money already implementing on AI on something, if it no longer serves those purposes, it's okay to stop it.
So as you said, we're not going through the 9-year journey.
No, please,
But you guys have been at this a long time. You have some real results to show for it. 40% reduction in your operating budget in HR from the implementation of AI. For those organizations in the room that are like, I'm here, I've maybe been experimenting for a while, I'm in this middle period where I'm trying to figure out how to get some real impact out of it, what is the one takeaway or insight that helped you get from this side to that?
The piece of advice I would give, we went big bang. Some of you have heard our story of we turned off the email address, the telephone number to HR. We told 30,000 first-line managers, you no longer have a business partner, and you only get a service for HR through a chatbot. Like, we went big bang, okay? That is not, cut it off, right? That is not what I would recommend at this point. Now, I know you're saying, really, you did all that? Why did we do it? We started our journey in 2017. Remember what you thought about chatbots in 2017? Were you about to use one? Right, like, again, they were bad if they existed at all, if you thought about them. Behavior now is very, very different for your workforce. So the one piece of advice that I would get is start small on something that matters in your organization that you can measure a return on. And a return does not need to be money. A return could be time savings. A return could be a better experience. Yes, I did reduce my HR operating budget by 40%, but my net promoter score went from +19 for our HR function to +65. That is the statistics I am most proud of. So I think that's how I would tell people to think about it. Start small, so you've been experimenting. Pick one of those things that you're now going to scale, but make sure that it's solving a problem in your organization, and make sure that you can prove that through measurable results. And it doesn't just have to be cost.
Well, I like that you focused on the Net Promoter Score, the experience, because we were talking just now in the speaker's room about how so much of the focus has been on productivity and using AI to improve productivity. And you think it's time to move to the next stage of that. How are you thinking about that, and how are you actually talking about that in the organization?
And this is, I think, the big pivot for 2026. I think for the last 3 years, as companies went from traditional AI to generative AI, it's really been a productivity play. And again, it's amazing. So do not misunderstand me that productivity isn't a massive benefit to the organization. Again, not just from cost savings, but for our employees, the time saving, getting information at their fingertips, helping them through automated processes. It's amazing. But I think that the productivity story has probably played out, and I think we need, as HR professionals, talent professionals, to move to this idea of AI is not just driving productivity, but how does it drive growth and value? Right? And I think that's what we need to do for our workforce. Because productivity, while important in our organization, is not that inspiring. And what does it do for me as an employee about, well, what should I do next? What should you do next? Build skills that are in these growth areas that we're moving to. And that's, I think, a pivot that we've got to make even in our communication. So as you're putting out these use cases, as you're moving from something that you've experimented with to something you're going to scale, I think it's important to say, how are we explaining why we're doing this? Mm-hmm. What's the value from the user perspective? Money? That's probably from my perspective as a department owner, right? Is it time? Is it coordination? You know, we were talking about a really good example that I think AI now moves to. AI has optimized siloed workflows to this point, which is great. You're in a process. How can it do something faster for you? How can it transfer an employee? How can it set up a job posting, right? What agentic AI now gives you the power to do is work across workflows. So if Jena and I both came into work tomorrow and our badges didn't work, is that a security issue? Is that an IT issue? Mm-hmm. Is it an HR issue? In a normal experience, you would have to go through all of those teams to figure out what the issue was. Wouldn't it be great if I tapped into a chat, my badge isn't working, and an AI agent goes to all of those departments and says, Nickle, your badge expires, you have to renew it. Go to the security office, get it updated. It would say to Jena, actually, there was a failure in our HRIS system yesterday. Your employee record isn't showing up. Do this with the CIO's office.
So let me ask you, how do you, if the transition is from productivity to value, growth, experience, how do you change that in how people are measured, how people are evaluated, shifting it so that the focus goes from productivity to what you're looking to do more of this year?
I will offer one possible solution, but in my honest view that I gave you at the beginning, that I'm not sure there's any such thing as a best practice, here's how we're solving that. Mm-hmm. At IBM, employees get a year-end performance rating. They get rated on 3 dimensions that are all equal. Business results, and we're not on a 5, 10-point scale. It's met, not met. Did you meet or not meet your business results? Your skills objectives for the year that you set with your manager, did you meet or not meet those? And then your behaviors, those are standard throughout the company. Did you meet or not meet? You can be a low performer at IBM, having met and exceeded every single one of your business results, but not have met your skills results. And we think that this is an important framework in our talent framework, because your business results are what you did for me yesterday. It's those measurable things. Mm-hmm. Skills are what you'll do for me in the future. And that concept is something that, to me, is really important as you're trying to prepare your workforce. So many people tell me, oh, we're a learning organization. We believe in continuous learning. Really? Do you reward for it? Do you recognize people for it? Do you pay people for it? Our compensation structure is also linked to skills, as an example.
And so those skills help to measure the value and the growth and the experience that you're wanting to shift more towards and away from productivity. I wanted to ask you, we're speaking about the workforce, there's a ton of conversation going on right now about entry-level workers and the impact that AI is having on young junior workers. What's your outlook for that, and how are you guys thinking about reshaping the entry-level job?
So maybe I'll go back a little bit.
Okay.
I told you that there's no such thing as a best practice, but maybe I will very humbly put something out there pretty provocative. I think the companies 3 to 5 years from now that are going to be the most successful are those companies that doubled down on entry-level hiring in this environment, not that held it status quo or reduced it. This year...
Are you doing that?
We are tripling our entry-level hiring. And yes, that is for software developers. And yes, it's for all these jobs that we're being told AI can do. Now, it means as talent professionals, we are the critical success factor. Why? Because you have to rewrite every job. It is true, the entry-level jobs that you had 2 to 3 years ago, AI can do most of them. And so if you're going to convince your business leaders that you need to make this investment because it's an investment for the future, then you need to be able to show what is the real value these individuals can bring now. And it has to be through totally different jobs.
So give an example of the way an entry-level job looked in software development or wherever 2 years ago at IBM and how it looks today.
Maybe
or how it might look next year.
Yeah, two examples that I would give. Software developers in 2024, maybe even in 2025 to some extent, would have spent 34 hours a week coding. What do entry-level software developers do now? They still do some coding. It's with the assistance of AI. They still do testing, but they're also spending a lot more time talking to our marketing teams. They are out with clients, making sure that they've got client feedback so that they can accelerate some of our milestone roadmaps. They're also building first-of-a-kind products, not just maintaining products, right? So this idea of how do you move towards growth?
Yeah.
Again, it's not just doing the usual and maintaining. It's can we accelerate the current products we have and can we build new ones? That's a great example. Second example is maybe closer to home, HR professionals. In the old world, I probably would have brought HR professionals into COE centers that handled inquiries, worked in that type of environment. Now, many of my HR professionals actually work alongside the AI, where we get real-time feedback when the AI is not answering questions right. They call employees when a manager gives us a thumbs down or cancels out of a process because they're frustrated. They get a call now. I can now be staffed to do that, to not only give that manager a better experience, but to go fix the AI, where I never would have known that this was a problem before. And so these types of interactions, when you think about, well, how does that lead to growth? It's not only just growth for the organization, where is the most value, but it's also for the individual. What skills are they picking up that are more enduring as you go forward?
So we've got 2 minutes left. As you think about moments when you were in a process of trying to, again, move to see some real impact, trying to make real change that will last, what's your biggest piece of advice that we haven't talked about yet today about making that transition that people should take with them?
Maybe two pieces of advice. Don't just focus on the technology. Don't just focus on what model is being used. And again, everybody cares about that. I'm not saying it's not important. It is your job to really care about what's the process. How would an employee experience this? How would a manager experience this? What do we need to do differently in our organization, given the culture? What's going to keep people from engaging this way? So I think that's the first thing. And then the second thing, I can't stress enough, entry-level hires. Again, it is your responsibility to make the case for that, right? And you understand, business leaders, short-term results, again, AI can do those jobs in the next year to two. I get direct bottom line savings. And what they'll say to you oftentimes is, and you'll say, yeah, but where am I going to get the middle manager 3 or 4 years from now? And they'll say,
that's
Nickle.
How. Yeah,
they'll say, Nickle, you're going to go hire them from our competitors because you have a great TA organization. And then you have to take the next step here. You have to say, at a 30% premium, and they don't know our culture, and the cost of getting them up to speed. So this is this idea of build the business case now, even though it may not seem so obvious to your leaders, because it's going to make your job a lot easier 3 years from now, but also it will make your organization more successful.
Nickle LaMoreaux, CHRO of IBM. Round of applause, everyone.
Thank you.